Commander Alina Rice floated in zero gravity, blood streaming from the gash on her forehead in crimson globules that hung suspended in the recycled air of the Horizon's bridge. Her eyes remained fixed on the main view screen, unable to look away as humanity's cradle died. The hegemony warships, massive crystalline structures that bent light around their hulls like mirages, unleashed coherent beams of energy that cracked Earth's crust like an eggshell. Fault lines erupted into rivers of magma visible even from the Horizon's position, hidden within Neptune's magnetic shadow. There, they're hitting population centers first, whispered Dr. Kapoor, the ship's xenobiologist. His voice cracked as New Delhi, his hometown, vanished in a flash of superheated atmosphere. Alina's small crew of 23, scientists and military personnel aboard the experimental stealth vessel, watched in stunned silence as 7 billion lives were extinguished. The Horizon had been testing new cloaking technology in the outer solar system when the hegemony arrived without warning. No declaration, no demands, just methodical extinction. The planet's core destabilized in a final, blinding flash. Earth shattered into fragments, its once blue surface now just another debris field orbiting the sun. "Where next?" Lieutenant Commander Walsh said, his face ashen. "We need to surrender. Now, before they detect us." Alina turned to him, pushing off a console to arrest her drift. "Surrender to the things that just murdered our planet. Our families. They'll find us eventually," Walsh insisted, his voice rising. "There are 23 humans left in existence, Commander. 23. We can't." "Belay that," Alina ordered. "We follow protocol. We maintain stealth and—" "They killed Earth," Walsh shouted. His hand moved to his sidearm. The bridge erupted into chaos. 2 security officers tackled Walsh, but not before his wild shot punctured a cooling conduit. Alarms blared as atmosphere vented from the bridge. "Seal that breach," Alina ordered, pressing her palm against a control panel to initiate emergency containment. The ship's AI delivered more bad news. Critical damage to primary stealth systems, auxiliary power insufficient to maintain both life support and stealth field. An impossible choice: power life support or maintain their invisibility. Alina made the call. Drop stealth. Redirect power to life support and communications. Full passive scan of the system. As the Horizon's systems stabilized, their receivers intercepted fragmented transmissions, desperate calls from Mars Colony, from Europa Research Station, from the mining outposts on Titan and Ceres. The hegemony, arrogant in their victory, had classified these settlements as vermin habitats. Beneath their notice, thousands had survived. Not millions, not billions, but thousands. Walsh lay restrained on the deck, blood floating between them in globules from his split lip. Alina stood over him, her expression hardening from grief to something else. "Something dangerous. Earth is gone," she said, activating the ship's communication array to broadcast to the survivors scattered across the solar system. Her voice steadied as she spoke. "But humanity isn't finished. We're going to survive. We're going to rebuild." Her hand tightened into a fist. "And then, we're going to hit back, and they'll never see us coming." 5 years after Earth's destruction, Admiral Alina Rice pulled herself through the narrow maintenance shaft of the ruined Luna base, her prosthetic left eye casting a faint blue glow across the dust-covered surfaces. The eye, necessity born of a radiation accident during their first year of hiding, now served as both replacement and tool, scanning for hegemony energy signatures. 2 minutes until the patrol sweeps back around. Came Olivia Takahashi's voice through her implanted comm. "Whatever you're looking for, Admiral, I suggest you find it quickly." Alina reached the sealed vault, Luna's classified weapons research division. The door, designed to withstand nuclear blasts, had partially melted during the hegemony's scourging of the base. She placed a device against the warped metal, sending targeted sonic pulses through the structure until the locking mechanism failed. "I've got it," she whispered as the heavy door groaned open. Inside lay what remained of Project Phantom, experimental adaptive camouflage designed to bend light and energy around objects. The technology had been deemed too power-intensive for practical application, but that was before necessity became humanity's primary innovation driver. The Hegemony patrol ship appeared overhead, its search beams cutting through lunar dust. Elena activated the prototype, disappearing from visible detection as the alien light passed harmlessly over her position. Beneath Europa's kilometer-thick ice sheet, Dr. Sanjay Kapoor injected another compound into the preserved hegemony neural tissue. The specimen, recovered from a crashed scout ship, pulsed with bioluminescent light, then convulsed violently before disintegrating. Progress, he noted, adjusting his formula. The makeshift lab, built within Europa's subsurface ocean, housed 342 survivors. What it lacked in equipment, it made up for in isolation, the ice shield above them blocking most scans. Kapoor studied the results, his hand trembling slightly from chronic radiation poisoning. The hegemony neural networks have a fatal resonance frequency, he explained to his team. Hit them with the right signal pattern, and their biological systems experience cascade failures. A weakness, said his assistant, finally. More than that, Kapoor replied. If we can deploy this correctly, it's extinction. On Mars, hidden within the labyrinthine depths of Valles Marineris, General Marcus Chen supervised combat exercises. 30 soldiers maneuvered in repurposed mining exoskeletons, each modified to function as battle armor. Faster, Chen barked as the units practiced ambush tactics. The hegemony won't give you time to. An exosuit's hydraulic system ruptured, spraying superheated fluid across 3 other units. The training ground erupted in chaos as emergency protocols activated. Seal the breach, Chen ordered, rushing to help the injured. Maintenance team, report. The chief engineer arrived, her face grim. Sir, we're pushing these units beyond specifications. The parts weren't designed for combat stress. Chen's reply was interrupted by the colony's alert system. Hegemony survey vessel detected in orbit. Initiating blackout protocols. The lights dimmed as the colony's power signature dropped to minimal levels. The soldiers froze in position, knowing that above them, alien sensors swept the Martian surface for signs of human activity. On Titan, engineer Olivia Takahashi stepped into the airlock, her environmental suit already showing wear at critical junctures. The toxic atmosphere of Saturn's largest moon would kill her in seconds if the seal failed. The satellite alignment is off by 3 degrees, she explained over comms. Remote adjustments failed. Someone has to physically reset the array. Too dangerous, came the response. Wait for a maintenance window. Negative. A hegemony deep space scanner just entered the system. If our satellite grid isn't perfectly aligned, they'll detect our heat signature. Olivia stepped out onto Titan's surface, methane snow crunching beneath her boots as she made her way to the communications array. The dish required precise positioning to maintain their stealth network, the invisible web connecting the scattered remains of humanity. Back aboard the Horizon, now transformed into a command vessel, Elena Reyes received Olivia's confirmation of success. Maintain vector and transmission protocols. Elena ordered from the command chair of the Harbinger *. A captured hegemony shuttle modified with Olivia's reverse-engineered propulsion system. The vessel approached Ganymede alongside 2 identical craft, broadcasting hegemony identification codes. Security checkpoint ahead, Lieutenant Kwan reported. Incoming scan. Elena nodded to Dr. Kapoor, who activated their countermeasures. The biological disguises they wore, genetically engineered skin grafts that mimicked hegemony vassal species, itched mercilessly. The 8-person infiltration team had been selected for their psychological stability as much as their technical skills. They needed both to survive what came next. Scan completed. Proceed to Docking Bay 7. Transport NX-2183, came the automated response. They bought it, Kwan whispered. For now, Elena replied. The Ganymede outpost, officially designated as a biological cataloging facility, floated before them, a massive structure of crystalline lattices and pulsing energy conduits. Intelligence suggested it contained valuable research data. What the intelligence hadn't mentioned were the contents. "These are humans," Kapoor whispered, horror evident in his voice, as they moved through the facility's central laboratory. Transparent cylinders lined the walls, each containing preserved human specimens in various stages of dissection. Thousands of them. Alina forced her expression to remain neutral as they passed a hegemony scientist who nodded at their disguised team. The alien returned to its work, methodically removing organs from what had once been a child. "Focus on the mission," she subvocalized through their implanted comms. "Kapoor, locate a primary terminal. Takahashi, map an escape route." They proceeded deeper into the facility, passing more horrors with each step. The hegemony wasn't just studying humans. They were cataloging weaknesses, testing biological agents, developing targeted weapons against potential survivors. "Terminal located," Kapoor reported. "I need 30 minutes to upload the neural disruptor and extract their research data." Alina checked the security rotations. "You have 10 before the next patrol." "Impossible." "Make it possible." A decision crystallized in Alina's mind. Team 2, create a distraction in Sector 4. Draw them away. "What kind of distraction?" came the response. Alina's gaze locked on a containment field housing weaponized pathogens. A loud one. Alarms blared through the facility as an explosion rocked the distant section. Hegemony security forces rushed toward the disturbance, leaving Kapoor's position temporarily unguarded. "Uploading now," he confirmed. 17%. 23. The terminal suddenly flashed a security protocol. "They've locked me out remotely," Kapoor hissed. "They know something's wrong." Alina analyzed their rapidly deteriorating situation. Team 2 was pinned down, security forces were returning, and they'd lost their window for a clean extraction. "New plan," she decided, moving to the laboratory's environmental control station. "Can you convert your neural disruptor to transmit through sound?" Kapoor's eyes widened. "It would be imprecise, less lethal." "That's not what I asked." "Yes, I can modify it to transmit through acoustic vibrations, but—" "Do it," Alina ordered, accessing the station-wide announcement system. "We're leaving with more than data." Minutes later, a high-pitched tone echoed through every chamber of the facility. The hegemony personnel didn't drop dead. Instead, they staggered, disoriented as their neural networks experienced temporary disruption rather than catastrophic failure. In the chaos, Alina's team freed 3 human captives still intact enough to save, downloaded partial research data, and fought their way back to the docking bay. As their stolen ships broke away from Ganymede, Alina received the damage report. 2 team members dead, 1 critical, but they had struck the first blow. On the primary hegemony command vessel orbiting Jupiter, the High Executor received the attack report with disbelief. "Humans?" it asked. "Impossible. We eliminated them." "Not all," Executor replied its subordinate. "And they know about the neural resonance." The Executor's many eyes narrowed. "Find them, before they contact the others." "Others," Executor. "The other species we've manage. This must not spread." "Genocide," General Chen stated flatly, his voice carrying across the improvised war room beneath Europa's ice. "We have the weapon. We should use it to its full potential." Alina studied the holographic display showing the data recovered from Ganymede. "You're suggesting we exterminate an entire species." "They didn't hesitate with Earth," Chen countered. 7 billion souls. Gone. His fist struck the table. Kapoor's neural disruptor could target their entire neural networks simultaneously. One transmission, carried through their own communication relays, and the hegemony falls. Dr. Kapoor cleared his throat. "It's not that simple. The weapon requires precise calibration for each target's specific neural patterns. What we used on Ganymede was improvised. Then improve it, Chen interrupted. Make it stronger. Make it fatal. Olivia Takahashi stood, and make us exactly like them. Is that your vision for humanity's future, General? Perpetuating a cycle of extinction. The room divided into heated arguments until Elena raised her hand for silence. We're not having this conversation yet, she said quietly. First, we need to understand what we're dealing with. She gestured to the data scrolling across the screens. The hegemony didn't just destroy Earth as a military target. They did it as a demonstration, a warning to other species. What other species? Someone asked. That's what we need to find out. For 3 weeks, Elena's team transmitted coded mathematical sequences through captured hegemony communication channels, universal constants that any technological civilization would recognize. For 3 weeks, silence answered them. Then, as hope faded, a response came, not through conventional channels, but as a whisper directly in the minds of every human in Europa's base. We hear you, children of Earth. Panic erupted until Elena located the source, a containment cell housing one of the rescued captives from Ganymede. The woman's eyes glowed with an unnatural light as she spoke in a voice not her own. I am Exor of the Nixari. We have listened to your call through the void. How are you speaking through this person? Elena demanded. Your kind calls it telepathy. My body is enslaved on a hegemony core world, but my mind reaches across stars. This vessel graciously permits my temporary presence. Why respond now? Because you have done what no other species has managed in 3,000 cycles. You have struck the masters and survived. The possessed woman's head tilted. You have shown potential. The connection established, Exor revealed the truth. Dozens of species had been subjugated or exterminated by the hegemony over millennia. The Nixari themselves were reduced to biological communication nodes, their powerful telepathic abilities exploited to maintain the hegemony's vast network. The Voth, physically imposing but philosophically pacifistic beings, served as labor drones after their resistance was crushed generations ago. We are many, but separate, Exor explained. Kept isolated, prevented from unified action. Until now. As Elena absorbed this information, alarms blared throughout the base. A hegemony patrol had detected anomalous energy readings near Europa. They found us, Olivia reported. Patrol ship, approaching rapidly. General Chen moved toward the weapons locker. Evacuation protocols. Elena's expression hardened. No more running. She turned to her command staff. Prepare the prototype defense systems. We make our stand here. The hegemony vessel entered Europa's orbit, its sensors probing the ice for signs of human activity. Below, Elena's forces positioned themselves with their reverse-engineered weapons and adaptive camouflage. Let them come, she whispered. Through their telepathic link, Exor observed the humans preparing for battle rather than flight. The possessed woman's lips curved into a smile. Perhaps, thought the alien consciousness, extinction is not our only future after all. In high orbit, the hegemony commander detected unusual energy signatures beneath Europa's surface and prepared to deploy excavation drones. It never noticed the small objects rising from the ice behind its vessel, human attack craft, cloaked and armed with Kapoor's neural disruptors. The hunt had become an ambush. The hegemony 7th Fleet materialized at Saturn's orbit, over 200 warships arranged in perfect geometric formation. Their commander, Archon Vexilia, observed the gas giant's magnificent rings with dispassionate eyes. Scans detect residual human energy signatures throughout the ring system, reported his second. They attempted to conceal their presence by dispersing. A primitive tactic, Vexilia responded, his voice resonating through the neural link connecting all hegemony command staff. Deploy harvester units to each quadrant. Leave nothing alive. As the fleet dispersed into Saturn's rings, none detected the subtle gravitational anomalies hidden within the ice chunks and dust, the camouflaged human vessels lying in wait. They've taken the bait, Elena whispered from the bridge of the horizon, now rebuilt as a stealth command vessel. Her ship floated motionless, encased in ice that rendered it indistinguishable from the countless fragments comprising Saturn's rings. General Chen's voice came through the secure channel. All strike teams report ready. Package delivery systems primed. Throughout the rings, human ships disguised as debris waited while modified mining charges, originally designed to fragment asteroids for resource extraction, had been strategically placed throughout the ring plane. Each contained a compressed core of ring particles frozen with liquid hydrogen, transforming ordinary ice into hypervelocity projectiles when detonated. HFY telepathic link established, reported the communications officer, nodding toward the rescued woman who now hosted SOAR's consciousness. They're ready to jam hegemony command signals on your mark. Elena watched the enemy ships penetrate deeper into their trap. Execute Operation Avalanche. The first detonations caught the hegemony completely unprepared. Rings of ice particles became lethal projectiles, accelerated to impossible speeds by the synchronized explosions. Dozens of smaller hegemony vessels were shredded instantly as millions of ice particles penetrated their hulls at relativistic velocities. The larger capital ships activated emergency shields, but the barrage continued as human vessels shed their icy camouflage and executed precision strikes at weak points identified from the Ganymede data. On his flagship, Archon Vexilia struggled to coordinate his forces as conflicting orders echoed through the neural network, the result of HFY telepaths jamming their communications with contradictory commands. "Purge the network," he ordered. "Release the hunter-killers." The hegemony ships disgorged thousands of autonomous drones, each the size of a human fist, but armed with molecular cutting beams. These hunter-killers required no central coordination, programmed simply to target anything not broadcasting hegemony identification signals. "Drones incoming," Olivia reported, her face grim as she monitored the tactical display. "Too many to intercept." Elena watched as the swarm approached, knowing their ship's propulsion systems couldn't outmaneuver the smaller threats. Victory was slipping away, until an unexpected transmission reached them. "Human vessels, this is VOF Transport Eternal Burden. We stand with you today." A massive ship, previously registered as a neutral merchant vessel, dropped its disguise. Nearly 15 kilometers long, the VOF transport interposed itself between the human fleet and the approaching drones. "What are they doing?" Chen demanded. The answer came as the enormous ship's outer hull began to glow with accumulated energy. A cascading electromagnetic pulse erupted outward, engulfing the drone swarm. The hunter-killers faltered and went dark, their systems overloaded. "They sacrificed their ship's power core," Olivia whispered in awe. Elena seized the moment. "All vessels, target the hegemony flagship. Boarding teams prepare for insertion." Her own ship accelerated toward the massive crystalline vessel at the fleet's center. Around them, the battle transformed as more hidden allies revealed themselves. VOF engineers sabotaging hegemony engines, HFY telepaths driving hegemony gunners to madness, and human ingenuity turning Saturn's very rings into a weapon. As Elena led the boarding party toward the flagship's docking bay, she allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. Earth was gone, but humanity had found something unexpected among the stars. Allies, friends, a future. And today, revenge. Europa's subsurface ocean chamber, once a scientific research facility, now served as humanity's impromptu war room. Illuminated by bioluminescent algae cultivated from the moon's native ecosystem, the vast cavern hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from 7 formerly subjugated species, united by their shared enemy. Elena studied the delegates with cautious optimism. The HFY, represented physically by a willowy humanoid whose silver eyes reflected the chamber's blue light. The VOF, massive reptilian beings whose armored skin bore ritual scars from generations of hegemony control. The insectoid Clitic, whose compound eyes registered spectrums of light invisible to humans. 4 other species, each unique in biology and culture, but connected by the brutal history of hegemony domination. The Battle of Saturn's Rings has changed everything, Elena addressed the assembly. For the first time in 3,000 cycles, the hegemony has suffered a major defeat. Their mystique of invincibility is broken. They will retaliate, rumbled Thexlor, the Voth ambassador, with unimaginable cruelty against all who participated. Which is why we must strike again before they recover, Elena countered, activating a holographic display. Intelligence from the captured flagship reveals the location of their capital world, Dominax. The hologram showed a planet encircled by defensive arrays, orbital shipyards, and patrol fleets. Their leadership, the High Conclave, rarely leaves this fortress. If we eliminate them— Annihilation, interrupted Kivzik, the Clitic representative, mandibles clicking with intensity. We propose complete obliteration of the hegemony homeworld. Our bioweapons can target their specific neural patterns across planetary scales. Murmurs of approval rippled through several delegations. Elena exchanged troubled glances with Olivia and Dr. Kapoor. We're discussing the genocide of trillions, Elena said carefully. Did they hesitate with Earth? Kivzik's compound eyes flashed. With my species breeding worlds. With the Voth's ancestral forests. If we become like them, they'd win regardless, Elena argued. Humanity fights for more than survival. We fight for the right to remain human. The chamber erupted into heated debate. Species with centuries of accumulated grievances demanded retribution, while Elena's inner council advocated for targeted strikes against military infrastructure. Abruptly, Hexor, the Nixari delegate, rose and silence fell across the chamber. We have lived in their shadows for generations. Some here were born knowing only hegemony dominance. Your kind, he gestured to the humans, has known it for mere years. Yet you hesitate where we would not. Because we've seen this path before, Elena replied. Earth's history is filled with cycles of vengeance that solved nothing. Kivzik chittered angrily. Pretty philosophy from a species with nothing left to lose. The insectoid lunged across the table, razor appendages extended toward Elena. General Chen reacted instantly, his sidearm discharging with a sharp crack. Kivzik collapsed, green ichor spreading across the floor. The council chamber descended into chaos. Accusations, threats, weapons drawn. The fragile alliance teetered on collapse. Dr. Kapoor's voice cut through the pandemonium. They're us. The chamber quieted as Kapoor activated his own display, showing genetic sequences. The hegemony forces, many aren't a distinct species. They're engineered variants of previously conquered civilizations. Biological weapons turned against their own kind. Stunned silence fell as the implications became clear. Those they would destroy were distant cousins of the very allies seeking revenge. Elena looked across the assembled delegates, her voice finding new resolve. We don't need genocide. We need revolution. The Alliance fleet, a cobbled-together armada of captured hegemony vessels, modified human ships, and contributions from allied species, emerged from FTL at the edge of the Dominax system. Elena stood on the bridge of the flagship, now christened *Remembrance*, studying the tactical display with wary eyes. Stealth systems holding, Olivia reported from her station. Hegemony automated defenses haven't detected us yet. The journey had been a gauntlet of close calls, navigating through quantum minefields, evading patrol fleets, and maintaining the delicate harmony between species whose cooperation remained tenuous despite their shared purpose. But they had made it. Begin Phase 1, Elena ordered. Throughout the fleet, Nixari telepaths initiated their most ambitious effort yet, projecting false sensor readings into the minds of hegemony operators monitoring the system's defensive grid. It wouldn't fool automated systems, but it might blind the living components long enough. The aperture is opening, General Chen announced as a patrol route briefly cleared. Infiltration team, prepare for deployment. Elena led the 12-being strike team, representatives from each allied species, plus key human specialists, aboard the modified stealth shuttle. As they detached from the *Remembrance*, Dr. Kapoor ran final diagnostics on the neural disruptor. "Remember," he cautioned, "the defensive array is partially biological, linked to the same neural network as Hegemony command staff. Once we disable it, they'll know we're here." Alina nodded grimly. "Then we'd better be quick." The shuttle accelerated toward the massive spherical network surrounding the Dominax system, a web of platforms engineered to destroy anything approaching without proper authorization. Between the platforms stretched filaments of living tissue, organic computers processing vast amounts of data instantaneously. "Something's wrong," whispered Xor, the Nixari telepath. "I sense doubt in the network." "Explain," Alina demanded. "The biological components. They're in pain. Constant, unending pain." The shuttle docked with the primary control hub, a structure resembling a massive ganglion in the defensive neural web. The strike team moved through dimly lit corridors, encountering minimal resistance thanks to Nixari telepathic interference. Within the central chamber, they discovered the horrifying truth: thousands of brain-like organs suspended in nutrient fluid, forcibly interconnected with cybernetic implants. The processing nodes weren't mechanical. They were harvested and repurposed central nervous systems from conquered species. "They're still conscious," Thor whispered, visibly shaken. "Still aware, after centuries." Dr. Kapoor examined the grotesque system. The disruptor would kill them all. "Is there another way?" Alina asked. "I can modify it. Sever their connection to the hegemony control mechanisms without ending their functions. It might free them." As Kapoor worked, Olivia detected an incoming security team. "We've got company." Alina positioned her forces at key defensive points. "How much longer?" "Minutes," Kapoor replied. The first wave of hegemony defenders arrived. Biomechanical monstrosities with surgical tools instead of limbs. The battle erupted in close quarters, with allied species fighting desperately to buy Kapoor time. Alina found herself back-to-back with Commander Walsh, her former XO who had attempted mutiny after Earth's destruction. Their troubled history had evolved into wary respect over years of shared struggle. "Like old times," Walsh muttered, firing precisely at an advancing defender. "Better," Alina replied. "Now we're winning." An explosion rocked the chamber as a second wave of defenders breached an auxiliary entrance. Walsh pushed Alina clear as the ceiling collapsed, trapping him beneath the debris. "Go," he ordered, blood seeping from beneath the rubble. "Finish it." Alina hesitated only a moment before racing back to Kapoor's position, where he had just completed the modifications. "It's done," he announced, initiating the sequence. Throughout the massive defense array, connections severed as thousands of enslaved nervous systems were liberated from hegemony control. The defensive grid went dark, opening a path to Dominax itself. As the strike team fought their way back to the shuttle, Alina paused beside Walsh's body. "We'll remember," she promised. "All of you." Dominax burned. The Alliance fleet, no longer hidden, engaged the hegemony home defense forces in a battle that engulfed the entire planetary system. General Chen commanded the military assault from the Remembrance, directing attacks against orbital platforms and shipyards while avoiding civilian centers where possible. On the surface, Alina led a small infiltration team through the crystalline streets of the capital city. Disguised with biological grafts developed by Dr. Kapoor, they approached the towering spire at the city's center, the sanctum of the High Conclave. "According to intelligence," Olivia whispered, "the conclave chamber is 5 levels below the central atrium." Alina nodded, her artificial eye scanning for security measures. "SOAR, status of telepathic jamming." The Nixari closed his silvery eyes, holding, but straining. Their strongest telepaths are concentrated here. The team moved through security checkpoints with falsified credentials, tension mounting with each step closer to the heart of the hegemony. In orbit, the battle reached a desperate stage. The hegemony, facing unprecedented defeat, activated planetary defense weapons that targeted their own orbital installations, sacrificing thousands of their personnel to destroy Alliance vessels. "They're killing their own," a tactical officer reported in horror. General Chen's expression remained grim. "Because they fear what's coming even more than death." Elena's team reached the Conclave's antechamber, dispatching the guards with neural disruptors tuned to non-lethal frequencies. The massive doors to the inner sanctum stood sealed before them. "Final approach," Elena subvocalized through their secure channel. "Be prepared for anything." Dr. Kapoor interfaced with the security system, bypassing layers of protection until the doors slowly parted, revealing a massive chamber that defied expectation. Thousands of beings floated in suspension tanks arranged in concentric circles, members of dozens of species, all connected by glowing neural interfaces to a central structure. At the chamber's heart, suspended in a column of energy, hung a being unlike any they had encountered, ancient and withered, yet pulsing with unnatural vitality. "The architect," Exor whispered, recognizing the entity from racial memory passed through generations of enslaved Nixari. The being's eyes opened, hundreds of them, covering its amorphous form, and it spoke directly into their minds. "Asterisk, you have come far, humans, farther than any before you, asterisk. We've come to end your reign," Elena stated firmly. The architect's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "Asterisk, though, you know why Earth was destroyed. Not because you were a threat, but because you would become one. Our predictive models showed humanity's potential, your perfect balance of aggression, cooperation, and innovation. In time, you would have surpassed even us, asterisk." The being gestured to the suspended forms surrounding them. "Asterisk, this is the true hegemony. A unified consciousness spanning thousands of worlds. You could join us, asterisk." Dr. Kapoor readied the neural disruptor, but Elena raised her hand to stop him. She turned to Exor instead. "Can you broadcast what we're seeing to every connected being in the hegemony?" The Nixari nodded, understanding immediately. "Not just images. Truth." Elena faced the architect. "You won't fall by our hands. You'll fall by your own lies being exposed." Rage rippled across the ancient being's form as it realized their intent. It lashed out psionically, attempting to seize control of Elena's mind. Within her consciousness, Elena found herself walking through Earth's history, witnessing humanity's greatest atrocities alongside its most profound achievements. The architect sought to break her will by showing human nature's darkest aspects. "We know what we are," Elena responded, her mind holding firm. "Both the darkness and the light. That's what you never understood." Around them, Exor channeled the architect's own network against it, broadcasting the truth to every hegemony world simultaneously, revealing the lies upon which their civilization was built. Throughout the galaxy, connected beings awoke to reality. Rebellions ignited across 1,000 worlds as the hegemony's control fractured. Dominax's sky filled with ships, not in retreat, but in revolution. Elena stood victorious before the diminished architect, her voice calm. "Earth died in your first strike, but humanity will live in your last."